Hello and welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. This is our new Homestead-Overflow shed. So a few of you have been following us as we've built this shed. I haven't filmed a whole lot of the process, but I've posted a few pictures in the community tab, and I wanted to update you on the shed as well as update you on the $50 February challenge, because we have completed 3 full weeks and we have 1 more week to go. I'm super happy with the amount of light that we have in this shed. It was really important for me to have this amount of light. There's a good chance that we'll start chicks in here. I may start some seeds in here, and I do keep my beekeeping equipment in here. And as far as that goes, it is really important if you have drawn comb with bees and you're storing the comb, that you give the comb access to a little bit of light to prevent wax moths. I don't really want to use anything like moth crystals to keep wax moths away, and the alternative, the natural solution, is sunlight. You can see up here we've got insulation in the ceiling, there's insulation in the walls. Levi put paneling on the walls, and so far we don't have any kind of climate controls going on in here, but we do have a window unit as far as AC that's going to be going in this window over here. And we've run a few space heaters during some cold nights, and some little space heaters really do help and retain a lot of heat in this space. So when I start my seeds, my spring and summer seeds that are frost tender, if we have a day that's going to be, or a night that's going to dip down below freezing, I don't have to pile all of the seedlings into my house anymore. I can put them on this shelf over here and put some lights on them and run the heater, and they're going to be a-okay. Levi put in some cabinets, which is going to help me store my jars and other things that I don't really want getting super dusty. So I'm pretty sure he measured these shelves out so that I can fit a good amount of jar in here. And after Levi installed these cabinets, he actually hung off of them himself. He weighs right around 200 pounds, and so we know that we could store food in there should we need to, as long as we keep the temperature in here pretty constant. But for right now, I don't think I need to store food in here necessarily. I just need a place for my extra jars to live, because I have a lot of them. This space is really nice to store some of my bulkier equipment. This is my cream separator, my steam canner, one of our juicers. So it's a little bit of a mess in here right now while we figure out exactly where we want things to go. Not everything that is in here is going to stay in here. I have a lot of stuff for the garden that I just kind of threw in here that really belongs in my garden shed. This space is really for the things that basically that I don't want rodents crawling on. The sheds that came with this house when we bought the property, they already had rodents in them. They already are kind of like Swiss cheese, and they're fine for storing some of like my garden equipment and different tools and things. This space is really for things that I don't really want to store in an environment like that. Things that may need a little bit more climate control, and things that really don't need rodents crawling around on them. So pardon the mess, I wanted to show you anyway. Over here in this section is actually Levi's man cave. He actually got this lazy boy recliner from his dad. He plans on putting bookshelves here with a lot of books. He's already got lighting situations figured out here, and he's moved over his reloading bench. So this is a really great place for him to get out of the house, get away from the noise of things, and just chillax. So I'm going to take advantage of his comfy chair and sit here to get you up to speed on $50 February and how it's going for us. So if you're not familiar with that, quick rundown. So we're essentially collaborating or doing a challenge together with a few other YouTuber friends and people who don't have YouTube channels in order to spend a lot less money at the grocery store in the month of February. The whole goal is to use what's in our pantries, and a lot of that should be what we have produced on our own individual homesteads and our own individual farms, or we could use what we bartered for throughout the year. So each couple was allotted $50 to spend at the grocery store during the month of February. The rest has to be used out of their home. Each family with children is allotted $25 per child, so our budget for February was $150, which works out to be $37.50 per week. And we are 3 weeks in, and we did go a little bit over budget this week, but we've got good reason for it. So I'm going to run the grocery haul here, and then we'll be back to talk about the food that I made this week. Okay guys, we are officially 3 weeks into the $50 February challenge, and this is 3 weeks worth of grocery shopping. We've got 1 more week left, and I knew that it was going to happen either this grocery trip or the next grocery trip where we would go over our or our weekly allotment. So because we went under the last couple weeks, it still isn't too bad. For the last week, next week's grocery trip, we still have $33.13 to spend. And so that's really not bad. We'll be able to do it, I'm pretty sure. And part of that is because we bought a lot of kind of bulk stuff this week, like these big old yogurts and this pepperoni. And so that stuff is really gonna carry on into next week quite well. I was really surprised at the retail price of some of these things in compared to what we were able to purchase them for. And it surprises me every week. Even though we've been shopping at this grocery store for at least 2.5 years pretty consistently, I still am very surprised every time that we pay what we pay. So retail price, everything here would have been $177.90. We paid $52.77. This does include things that I really couldn't find a real world comparison for, like this raw milk cheese. This is a locally made raw milk cow's cheese, almost 2 pounds for $5.34. That is a crazy good price, and I know there's nothing really comparable out there in like the regular market. A lot of raw milk products are low temp pasteurized, like they're not technically raw. This is probably technically raw, which carries its own value to me. So these natural choice uncured pepperonis are almost $5 at the regular grocery store. There's a pack of 12 down here that we got for $11.50. So the savings on that is quite large, and this is going to last us a good long while. I had mentioned these yogurts a little bit in the beginning of the video. I was actually shocked at how expensive these were. I could only find the comparison for these at a restaurant store, an online restaurant store, and for the case of 4 online, it was $65.95. We paid $7.50 for the 4 of them, and this is gonna last us into next week as well. I actually didn't realize that I had purchased the blueberry yogurt, and if I had realized that, I probably would have gotten a different type of granola. Levi thinks it's still gonna taste good together, but this is a key lime granola. This is one of our favorites that we've been able to access at our store. We pay $1 each for these packs of granola, and at Publix, at the local grocery store, these are $7.19 each, so it's a really great value. We did have to go kind of heavy on the dairy this week, as I kind of anticipated. Our little baby goat, Farrell, is taking about half of the milk that we milk every day. He's needing to be fed it. We are giving him about 3 cups of regular goat's milk and 3 cups of milk replacer every day. He's guzzling it down. He's only going to be eating more. So by the time the challenge is over, we're really going to be scraping for our home dairy. And it's showing in the price tag that we had at the store this week. Even though it's low, it's higher than it would have been had we had our goats in full milk. So we did grab some butter. I ran out of butter from the freezer. Sometime in January, I had purchased a 10-pound block of butter, and that's all gone. So we did have to get butter. We got some cheese. We got the yogurt. These are dairies that we would not have really, especially all at once, we normally wouldn't have done it. I really can't wait for March when we have 4 more dairy does giving birth. So on the 15th, we actually served our kids leftovers. We didn't have a lot of leftovers in order to make it a full meal for the whole family. So Levi and I had an extra cut of venison backstrap in the refrigerator that we grilled up and had with a salad. Super yummy. I can't believe that some of this venison was in the bottom of our freezer from 2020, but it was. Now it's not, so that's a good thing. And I actually did a little bit of rebel canning in 2021. We canned up some cucumber juice, it's cucumber lemonade, that we made with our excess Armenian white cucumbers. This was so good. I plan to do more of that this year because that was really great and worth saving. On the 16th, we had eggs for dinner. On my plate here is actually a dozen quail eggs. A dozen quail eggs equates to about 3 chicken eggs, and then of course we had a side of salad with that as well. So on the 17th, I actually made barbecue hog with macaroni and cheese and sprouts, and we mixed it all together, and it was really good. One time, a few years ago, we had made barbecue meatloaf, and then we had mac and cheese the next day and put the leftover barbecue meatloaf inside the mac and cheese, and now we do that intentionally because it was so good then. So it's kind of hard to see what's going on in this plate here, but this is Hassenpfeffer. It's essentially stewed rabbit inside a lovely brown sauce, and we serve it over mashed potatoes, but you can serve it really over anything, and it's an amazing way to eat rabbit. We haven't had a lot of rabbit this month, which is surprising. Normally we eat a lot more rabbit, but I've been trying to use up old chicken that's in the freezer because it just has to be used up. Speaking of chicken, the 19th we made fajitas, and I didn't have any kind of tortilla or anything like that, so we basically did like a burrito bowl, kind of like you would get at Chipotle, except for this was obviously homegrown chicken. This was actually the raw cheese that we had bought at the store, shredded up with a side of salsa, and this was very, very good. This is something that's going to be on the repeat for my menu for dinners. I might not always have chicken breast on hand, but I feel like it's something I could easily sub shredded rabbit with, or the shredded wild boar, or really anything. The 20th was leftovers again, and again we didn't have enough leftovers for the whole family, so the kids got the wild boar mac and cheese, and Levi and I had some pepperonis with some scrambled eggs. So on the 21st we had a creamy tromboncino soup with sprouts and shredded cheese, and I also made some crusty bread to go along with. You wouldn't think that squash soup would be a favorite of young children, but these guys gobbled it up. Honestly, even though it's squash, it really is reminiscent of broccoli cheddar soup, and there's, besides the little sprinkle of shreds of cheese that we placed on top, there's really no cheese in it, but the kids don't really know the difference. They assume, I think, every time that it's broccoli cheddar soup. It's not. This day I also made a cheesecake out of our goat's cheese, and this was fantastic, especially chilled. I had some people ask me if I thought the lemon inside the cheesecake was a weird flavor with the peanut butter cereal that I used for the crust, and actually no, I couldn't taste a whole heavy amount of either one of them. This was a very good cheesecake. It's the first time that I've made it out of our goat cheese. So we're in the home stretch. We don't have a very huge budget for this week, but I don't think it's really gonna matter. We've gotten a lot of really good bulk deals in the last couple weeks, like we always do, from our local Amish store, and so I think it's gonna be good. Now, where we are getting really tight, like I mentioned in the grocery haul, is our home dairy. So we are very, very anxiously awaiting more kids to hit the ground here, and they are going to be hitting the ground in less than 2 weeks. Actually, my Kiko Nubian Schwenli, her ligaments started softening today, and I noticed that she's starting to put a lot more milk in her udder, and she's due on March 4th. This is her first time delivering standard sized kids, and so I'm not entirely sure if she will deliver them a little bit sooner because her body, you know, previously has delivered half Nigerians. I don't know how that works, but I guess we'll see. So we're entering the busy season as far as farming and homesteading and all of that goes. And I have been posting a lot more content lately because I've been able to really expedite the editing process, and that has meant that I have been able to post a lot more. Now, that's probably going to change coming up into summer, and we do have a lot going on, and I don't necessarily want to leave you guys out on something that you're interested in. So I'd really love to know down below what you are most interested in seeing. What are you most interested in learning about from our channel? So obviously we're going to be having garden content, obviously we're going to be having goat content, but besides that, what more do you need or want from this channel? I'm really trying to narrow it down so I can be intentional with the content coming up, because it's going to be a really busy time of year and I know that I cannot include it all. I at least can't include all of it in the equal amount of depth that I can do with the garden and with dairy goats. So I have a seed order unboxing to do with you guys really soon. I plan on making a video for my Raising Rabbit series on exactly what to look for when you're buying a breeder rabbit. I want to go over my kitting kit with you guys because I've got to organize that, so I might as well go through that with you guys as well. There's a lot of things that we keep in our kit due to past bad experience with our goats, and so I think that could be really valuable for everyone to see. And I also really need to make bone broth. And I know everyone was interested in seeing our process in making bone broth and getting the most out of the animals that we raise here. And so in the short term, that's what I have planned, and I would love to know what else you guys want to see and really what you are most interested in seeing as the summer progresses. I know we're not even in summer yet, but you always, as homesteaders, have to be thinking into the next season. So that's what I'm trying to do here. So let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you guys very soon.